All right, so welcome in everyone. It's our Friday Flow Power Hour stream. As always, just going to kind of look at flow, take requests, charting requests, questions about unusual whales, feel free to ask. So go ahead if you got any contracts you want me to look at, drop them in the chat. I will get through hopefully all of them. And yeah, if you got questions along the way, feel free to drop them too. So got one already in here for the Walmart 115 put 1219 here. I actually looked at these. These went into our risky flow channel. This I'll show you why it went in the risky flow channel here. So let's take a peek at it. So the reasoning why this one went in there is, let's go back here. And my internet's been really slow and crappy today, so I'm apologizing already. Flow's been loading slow for me. You can see when that flow starts to come in here. So you get that IV spike here now when we look at the rest of the flow here. So at that 2062, so it increases here. And let's see here. It swore it decreased, yeah, and then you see at the end here how it kind of decreases again there. I need to mute this too so it doesn't keep popping up. That IV decrease there at the end, not a big fan of that. They are weeklies as well too, so I wasn't a big fan of swinging them over the weekend. Did go into the risky flow channel, but other than that, I mean, I thought the flow looked good. Just that IV decrease there at the end, kind of not a big fan of that. And you're still getting a lot of net call premium there on the day as well too. So put premium still sitting bid side, hence not an actual flow alert. So up next we have the AMD February 170 put here. Let's take a peek here. So the AMD 170. Do you have a specific date for that one? Let's see, February. I'm guessing the 220 possibly. It's only February 20. All right, let me. Shall do it like this. Okay, yep. So the 220 put, and it's the 170. So this one do have some open interest on it right now. I want to see where that open interest is kind of coming in here. So looking at our date, I'm seeing spikes here 1500. So it's looking like they're actually adding to the position right away. I mean, you're getting a big chunk of that open interest carrying over. Not the full volume turning into open interest, but I mean, you're getting about 1,000 contracts each. I want to see when that initial 1500 kind of started to come in, so it looks like early October. Let's kind of take a peek here how that's looking. So this one, I'd say a little tougher to know if what that whale's idea there is, if they're kind of actually short on the stock or not, because you got that big spike there, big spike there, big spike there, and these are those 1500s that we were looking at in there. It's kind of, they're not dropping off. That's the thing. So could be a possible that whale's building a position there. We'll see if click on a couple of these candles, and some of that older data there's not going to be best to go back and look at because it's doesn't always kind of cooperate. So that first one there, IV kind of drops a little bit. Spot does go up there. You are slightly below the ask. We'll look at this one. This is a good example here of a lot of kind of flow on this one. So that IV drops again here, and your fills are kind of, looks like, kind of goofier there, where it's mid-fill and all that. So another one there. Let's look at this one, the big bid side candle here. So this one, that IV does drop. These might be short puts, actually, now that I'm kind of looking at it a little deeper there. 61, 2. So yeah, I mean, you see how that IV kind of pops a little bit, then it starts to drop again. I think these may be short puts, actually, if I had to guess. And they were just kind of adding to it. I'm not getting confidence that it's a full buy on those ones. Good example, though. We can see what else we got for coming for AMD today. Refresh this. AMD. Have anything that's noticeable here? So some shorter term calls here for next week. You're getting about 60% ask side, so we'll take a peek at that one. Is that actually, let's see, so multi-leg, so it probably is attached to something else. We'll find out. What my guess, just at first glance, you're sitting 43 there and then 41 there. My guess, just educated right away. Maybe related. We'll see when we click on that. I'm just trying to see what else is sticking out here. So some shorter term, and that's going to be a junky contract there. Your 23,000 in premium. Very minimal price on that one. All right, let's look at that call, or that call. Where were we? All right. So 41% multi-leg. Let's see where it is multi-leg. So it looks like it was that. Where's that other 7 day? The 235. 235. Is that where it? Nope, it's not. Okay, different one. See, the educated guess didn't work. But yeah, big multi-leg on this one. Take a peek. What are we saying? Limited loss, unlimited gain. Yeah, bullish multi-leg. So it looks like it's getting a little bullish weekly activity. What is AMD doing on the chart? Get out of here. AMD. Okay, let's kind of clean up this chart a little bit here. Run this up from the lower levels here. So you are, on the daily at least, we broke that uptrend there. Pretty big gap to the downside. I know you said that already, Shane, looking for that kind of lower gap there. Yeah, that almost, even on the daily there, just gonna kind of zoom in a little bit, that almost looks like it kind of bear flag there, and sorry about the kind of crappy drawing, but looks like you kind of bear flag there on the daily there, and now you're breaking to that uptrend. So that chart tells me down more there. And you're not sitting on that little run up there too. You weren't getting a lot of volume sitting below that 30-day average. And today, I hate when this stuff is in the way sometimes. Yeah, nope, that's exactly what I was going to say. You beat me to it. I was going to say, as long as you don't come back up, or if you well, if I was going to look to get into a position, obviously you're getting murdered today. That, probably maybe look for a little relief, bounce back up to that uptrend, and then you could get some longer positions there. And I do want to pop this over in this channel from the Discord over, so give me 1 second here. Just trying to find it here. That was actually one of our net call premium gaps there, so it was bearish here, so on the second there. So yeah, the two new channels, the net premium gaps and gamma gaps, don't get a million names, but it's something to watch out. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, a lot of these have been very accurate, so I kind of want to track those and get the actual kind of win rate on those. I want to see what else is going on with AMD here for you. Let's go back here. I mean, yeah, you look at your last 14 days, it's premium's been essentially pretty kind of flat here for the most part. I mean, bid side call there, you got a lot of put premium today. A lot of put volume here. Yeah, and your just highest volume contracts, it's going to mostly be 0 days today, obviously. Going to be mixed there. Let's see what else we got for contracts here. For openers. Let's do 70% ask side. Yeah, so junk. I don't like those slower moving contracts there. 125, you're 41% out of the money. That's pretty far for a month. How about these 185s? It's good premium. Take a peek at these. They're not green yet. They did get a little pop there. So low multi-leg, out of the money, 12%. I like that a little better. Little previous volume though. I just want to make sure it's not. Yeah, this is definitely an opener. So okay, yeah, this is not our first trade. So that IV spikes when that comes in. I like that sign there. You're coming at the ask. 52, 42 IV staying up. Spots continuing to come in at the ask. I like these 185s a lot more here too, actually, than those February. Obviously, you could do February. You'll have more time on them, but I like these 185 puts here. Again, you're down kind of a bit on the day, so you could get a discounted entry on something like that. Obviously, even now from that Wales entry 290, train at 246, small discounted entry, but looks like we're starting to kind of head back down a little bit there. Yeah, I'd say I like those 19s more than the February ones, but definitely a good good piece of flow and name that we looked at there. And these are very deep in the money. I kind of tend to stay away from those. You just, when you're that almost 30% in the money, it's more arbitrage-y there. It's just the flow. And this was a block trade too, so you're not really getting that full context of it. I mean, you're filling at 58.15 and your bid ask was 57.30 to 58.75, so it's almost mid-fillish there too. But yeah, I would say I like that. Where was that? The AMD, the January, put a little more than that February. So good find there. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, no problem, Shane. Actually, I want to look at one more thing on AMD. Sorry, I want to look at our gamma, how we're looking on that. Yeah, I mean, your price is pretty far extended from that. And again, theory is price will eventually catch up to your gamma levels here. Can take a while. I mean, look at all this positive gamma from May and how long it just kind of took to finally kind of hit that. There was a five months to hit that. So, I mean, I just combine all the data points. That's kind of what I like to tell people. Don't rely on just one data point. So let's see what else we got. Been doing a lot of homework on the Greeks, delta and gamma, mostly pretty. Yeah, I know it's really interesting. Though that net call premium, like JT, if you go and look in that I keep looking through the net premium gaps. Those have been really accurate, surprisingly. Like I'm not surprised about it, but I mean, I'm more surprised at how essentially accurate. I think Tesla's the only one that hasn't really did anything. And Tesla, obviously, a whole nother animal there in the market, too. But, yeah, I mean, that's definitely something interesting. And then I do want to make one more quick note here, too. So, I have it set, I got to check, 5 o'clock my time, so 6 Eastern. It's going to be a really short flow recap this week. So my thinking is I want to do it live so then people can ask questions as well instead of just kind of doing the video. So hop on. It's going to probably be a 10-15 minute video unless people got questions, but good week to start it because it's been really, really quiet for the week for the most part for the flow alerts just with FOMC and everything. So it'll give us a good kind of guideline and see how it all works out. So that'll be at 6 Eastern. So let's go look at the flow here and see what's coming in. So, okay, we got some Lulu calls hitting the tape here. And again, if anybody sees anything, feel free to drop it in the chat, as I'm just going to kind of take a peek at this. Lulu weeklies. Lulu has very, very aggressive theta, so I would not want these over the weekend. They do look good there where that spike, that IV spikes. Kind of a wide bid ask there. Probably would be chasing something like this. I mean, you're up 12% on the day. You're going to have IV probably drop off a little bit over the weekend. Getting a lot of put volume too. Definitely interesting there. Wouldn't want to swing those over the weekend, so let's go in here and take a peek at it. Where is my... So your theta, yeah, I mean, you're losing 32 cents a day on those. So lose about 70 bucks there over the weekend on those. If you don't even move, and if IV drops a little bit, you're gonna not wake up too happy on Monday. All right, we're getting some dings. Let's see what's coming out, else coming in here. Tesla puts too far out of the money, 340 put. 25% out of the money for weeklies. Absolute junk right away. Let's look at these upstart calls. Coming in at the ask. Got some other volume on the day. So we got some bid side stuff. Net call premium up. Up 1% on the day. Again, the weeklies over the weekend. I probably hear me say it every video. Not a big, huge fan of that. Just because theta is going to eat them over the weekend. I'd rather wait till Monday when you can actually get them after that theta eats those away. You might miss the move, but there will always be another trade. And this flow I do not like, because when you look at it when it comes in, so IV does spike when it comes in. We are coming in at the ask. Now when we look up here at the end, that IV starts to decrease here as well. Not a fan of that. Not a fan. Could be short those calls. Won't know till the contracts expire, but you're up about 1% on the day. Weeklies over the weekend. Not a fan. Those Walmarts we looked at. Strategy, those things are always going to be a gamble. These 25% out of the money over the weekend. Definitely no. No, and I'm not a big fan of the strategy flow. It seems like it always, like, it looks really, really good, but it's been a long time since I've actually seen strategy calls work out. Let's see, the Bros 12/19/63 calls. I was gonna post these, but they ran almost instantly there. By the time I got there, 78, they were already at 93, so too much of a chase on those. But when we look at that flow, pop our 250s, so IV spikes there. Maybe I wasn't going to post this flow. I'm looking at that IV now here, 44. So okay, IV spikes, increases on the way up, stays up, drops a little bit, comes back up. So you're filling at that for the most part. And then, okay, yeah, we decrease here at the end. So yeah, I honestly probably would have posted that anyways. But because usually when I look at the flow, first thing I'm doing, I always kind of look at that spot for that bid and ask there, kind of look at the spread, see how bad that spread is. This is kind of a wider spread, especially for weeklies. Your size looks good. It's definitely an opening trade based off that open interest that is there. And I'll always just click on this right away. I saw that it already kind of ran too, so not going to chase that. Don't want people to chase the flow. Okay, we're getting some hits. What else is coming in? See, so some previous open interest. We'll take a peek at that. That spot's not coming in right at the ask. We'll go see where it's kind of. So you're getting a mix of ask, mid, and bid side flow here. It's already kind of dropping a little bit there too. But your puts are ask side puts. Calls, bid side calls, getting a little more call volume though. 3% out of the money for weeklies next week. Little risky to swing that over the weekend. Let's look at our feed though. So this one, okay, let's go back to the beginning. Alright, so IV spikes when that comes in, looks good there. It's coming in at the ask there. So IV's at that 24.71. We are still filling at the ask. Now your IV pops here. That looks good. Spot coming in a cent below the ask there. And then you kind of have your IV pops a little bit again there. Spot price increases. I like that. Then your IV kind of drops here towards the end, and then you're getting bid side flow here. Still filling at that 35. Looks like that bid ask just expanding a little bit there. Then it expands again, and your IV's increasing again there. Sweep orders coming in. Spot filling at the ask. Yeah, that IV is just kind of increasing that entire way up, and you can see that timing is essentially all the same here. I mean, you're within seconds there. Educated guess, it's probably the same person, and then more large size here. Like this one, if it's a weekly and you like it, and you kind of see where maybe red on the day, this is something I'd scalp maybe a little earlier in the day, getting a little close to the end of the day to kind of do that. And we did have some previous volume here on the 10th with good majority of it carrying over, so let's go take a peek. So yeah, definitely not related to that at all. Just want to see how that candle looked there. So yeah, I mean, maybe a quick scalp on that. I don't like swinging the stuff over the weekend for a weekly. So MasterCard, the 12.19, 557.5 puts, again, weeklies are just hitting me with weeklies in the stream today, I guess, or in the feed. So definitely an opener. 2% out of the money. So I like this one. I like this a little bit more just because you see that put premium kind of increasing here. Call premium dropping. You can see we're starting to kind of drop. You are up on the day, so could be looking for a potential small pullback. Let's come back here. Was this our first on the day? No, it wasn't. So IV spikes when that comes in. Spot is coming in at the ask. Wider bid ask spread here. So IV stays up. Coming in, yeah, that is almost a 40-cent bid ask spread. That is pretty wide for me. Pretty wide. And you see it on like that bid side here when that IV drops, you're on one contract. So it's not like it's a large chunk of size or premium on that. 2029, what is that? 14. Okay, so this is where flow stops technically because you're at that cent. 2034. I would probably lean with these being buys. It's a weekly already starting to drop there a little bit too. All right, so we have the EWTX 30 call. We'll take a peek at that. EWTX 30 call for 12.19. So big bid side candle here, and it is 99% multi-leg, so this trade is attached to something else. Let's see where that is attached. So just looking at this, we're going to pretend it's not multi-leg yet. IV's all looking the same here. Just kind of looking it over. So low historic volume floor. So this name doesn't get a lot of volume essentially. Now let's look at the multi-leg part. And for those that know me, I am not a multi-leg fan. So I will always just pop it in the profit loss calculator. So this one is, it looks like it's going to be a bearish multi-leg strategy here. So that is bearish there. And it's 30 calls for 7 days out. That makes a little sense. I mean, you are 7 days out. These probably will not close above $30 in a week here. You're already up 2.5% on the day. If we were going to close at 30, let's just go do a little math here. Could happen, might not happen. You just never know. When's the last time we were above 30 on here? Let's see. So the last time we were above 30 was, it's just, I'm going to get close enough here. So back here in March. So for us to close above 30 by next Friday, you would need roughly about another 25% move. So yes, those are definitely probably going to expire out of the money. Again, you never know what can happen. What is this health company? Yeah, you just never know 100%, but more than likely these are going to probably expire out of the money. So good little trade there. Just not the multi-leg part, but otherwise good little example there. All right, let me clean up this. And it's funny, like when you watch Snorlax's, he has like 1,000 trades on there that the OCD in me does not like that. Okay, let's go back here. Ah, shit. Nope, I don't want to build anything. Okay. Alright, so we're getting some more names. So Schwab here. Right away, I see that spot. Not looking the best there. Almost more towards that bid side. We'll take a peek at it. So big spike in that net call premium. Put volume kind of drying up a little bit there. Still seeing ask side puts though. 3% out of the money with 3 weeks. That's a very reasonable expectation. So this is the first trade on that chain, and how do I know that? You have one contract coming in here. Here's your one contract on the day. 98 plus 1, 99 math. So just kind of following this up. I don't see anything that would make me think this is a sell, actually. It looks like that bid-ask kind of got a little wonky there at the end. IV stays up, and just getting all that volume on a brand new chain can kind of make that bid-ask a little goofy towards the end. So more than likely this would be coming in at the ask the entire time, just excluding that one. I do like these. And let's see. Nope, I don't want to compare it. Where is my... Why am I not getting my expected move here? Okay. Mess with that later. Because I'm trying to do it live here. Okay. So 1 month from now. So, okay, our implied move. I mean, if you're looking 1 month out, implied move, it's got about a 6% move to the upside and or downside. So that does look good there. So yeah, this is something maybe take a little bet on here. I'll throw it in there. I'll throw this in the chat. Under your risky flow though, if the flow's not textbook for me, it's not a actual flow alert. That's the thing. So and that's a good example there of kind of my process when you see something go into the actual flow alert versus the like a risky flow, like that IV kind of is a little wonky there. Like my good example here for the week, like the AA calls that came in, those things looked absolutely textbook when they came in. can see flow starts to come in. Your IV is increasing the entire way up. Textbook, that's what I like to see. It's a repeated hits ascending fill. That just means your spot price is increasing when it comes up. You can see not coming in right at the ask, but that spot price is increasing as it's coming in, and then here's your big size and big premium coming in at the ask. So like, this is textbook here. This is what I'm looking at. This is what you're going to find in the flow alerts. And again, just because it's textbook like that does not mean it's always going to work out in your favor. That's where risk management comes in. These are people. They mess up too, but I mean, that thing actually absolutely ran while it even ran a little bit more today too. But like, and like me personally, like the way I'm trading, if I'm up this much from, what's that, 229, and I see these hit 442, 455 today, I have a stop on. These have already dropped about 451 to about $100 a contract. That's I'm gonna have stops on for sure. That's kind of a lot to give up. Obviously the whale's still up very nicely, but again, you just never know fully. Secure those profits. That's the biggest thing I can say. Just because the whale's still in doesn't mean you have to be. Alright, let's go look at our ETF. I don't know why I always click in there. I'm so used to clicking in there. Yeah, just a lot of puts today, and I'm not a fan of chasing puts when the market's already kind of getting slapped around on the day. I mean, we're down about 1.25% there. Yeah, and IWM flow, I see a lot of it, and a lot of it is like this, where you see a lot of that high multi-leg, that IWM high multi-leg. The call was clean earlier. You just had kind of some extra volume there. Again, a risky flow. One there. And then these SPY puts from earlier, yes, they ran, but that whale actually exited at a loss. And this is exactly why I'm like, I don't want to chase puts when you're already down. Actually, they might have rolled those out or something. They're 40% multi-leg now. But I'm not a fan of chasing. I like seeing that opening chain and that name kind of not making a big move yet. BA, let's take a peek at BA for you. What do we got today? So, looks like we might have some 116 210s. Look at the weeklies next week. What else do we got here? 0 day there. And the 205s here. These look promising. And even maybe that 230. Alright, let's take a peek there. I see one of them didn't go over. Let's see, what one was it? 230, 205. The 210 didn't go over. Okay. So, okay, big multi-leg percent right away. A lot of open interest on this one already. Yeah, you just kind of don't know what's going on in there to really make a good decision. We'll just kind of take a peek at it for the fun of it. 6-cent contracts, probably not much on these. So yeah, they're just looking for Boeing to essentially make a big move up and or a smaller move down there. Yeah, more bearish multi-leg there, which would make sense with those calls being, come back here, 13% out of the money. Let's look at the 205s. Do want to look at that previous, how that previous volume was looking. Yeah, I mean, just when you have so much of this, you're getting lost in kind of all the flow. You just want it to be very clear and easy to watch and monitor. This gets tricky, but we'll take a peek at it anyways. Actually, I'm going to go back here and pop this back to today. We'll look at the big green candle. So this is a multi-leg trade again, and this one is tied with shares here. So I will definitely avoid them if they're tied with shares because you have absolutely no idea what's going on then. And we'll look at that 210. So this is one where you'd want to double check that open interest. Again, a lot of open interest on it already. So that carried over. When did this start kind of coming in? It's been a lot of open interest on this for a while. Alright, let's take a peek this way. Yeah, just another one too where you get a lot of volume. You just don't know what's exactly what. But we'll take a peek at it for educational purposes. 28.96. So IV pops a little bit there on the big size and premium. Drops. Sitting there. Yeah, that's not the... I like this contract out of the three that we've looked at the most. And I don't really like this one that much. So that'll kind of tell you how I feel about that. Let's look at what else we got on Boeing here. I'm going to grab a drink too as well. Alright, yeah, I mean, your net premiums for the last 30 sessions, not a whole lot, obviously. Your put premium little spikes there, you had those puts drop off there, then Boeing already dropped after those spikes. Big spike in net call premium back here on the 2nd, and we ran up after that. Now you got a little bid side premium there, so I might not begin a lot on this one. Yeah, you're just kind of sitting mid on a lot of this stuff. What are we trading at? 0.66 times the 30-day. Well, that's your big day there. 2.85 times the 30-day volume for a 10% day. Alright, let's see. Let's look at our gamma. Yeah, you're pretty much in line with your gamma levels as well. Yeah, not really seeing much for Boeing there. Worth a shot, though. Worth a shot. Alright, let's see what else is coming in. RDNT. What the hell is RDNT? Healthcare. A lot of healthcare stuff today. Big spread on those. Almost a $100 spread. Or dollar spread, technically. 7% out of the money. Yeah, you're down 4.5 on the day. Let's see. Yeah, UNH has been moving the last couple days. Kind of looking at these. Yeah. So IV spikes. 16. So the IV's kind of bouncing around here. So you go up to that 60.37, then drops again. Don't like that spread. That spread right away. I'm not a big fan of that. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing there too, M1. Whole nother thing. Yeah, I don't like the spreads on this one. I'd read it as a buy, but down 4.5% on the day. Have we seen anything else there? No, big spike. Yeah, that's kind of all premium that you're seeing on that. BE calls. So this is a mid-fill right away. Coming in at 490 to 510 there. Kind of your bid-ask. Take a peek there. Just getting clobbered today. And BE is a very volatile name too. So IV spikes on those. Spots coming in at the ask. Drop on one contract there. 136.34. Looks good going up. I would read these as a buy. I would probably read these as a buy. I mean, that bid ask widens a little bit at the end, but for the most part, you are coming in at the ask. IV stays up. I would probably read these as a buy here. It's just, do you want to swing them over the weekend? That is the one thing there. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of healthcare. Just there's just so much that can go on with it. It's it's always something. Healthcare names, I don't want to say scare me, but I mean like playing like Pfizer and Moderna, little more mainstream there. Let's see. Let's see what else we got coming in. Does anybody have anything they want me to take a peek at? Yeah, I mean that helps too if you work in that industry where you kind of know what's going on. Pretty big advantage. It's almost like it's like you have insider knowledge, but you don't, but you do. Yeah, it just depends on what your job is. Now, if you're the CEO, that's a little different. If you're the CEO, you probably know what's going on a little bit more. Let's look at Adobe. I know that chart looked good on the weekly there. Look at that. I already had the head and shoulders kind of drawn out there, or inverse head and shoulders there, and it's starting to kind of break up there. And I mean, even just kind of looking at that weekly, that looked like a pretty good bounce spot in this area. Kind of moving up there. I don't have anything over earnings, JT. I will not swing over earnings. I don't like to stress over that stuff. All right, what else is coming in? Anything in the ETFs? There's nothing else. Nothing else. It got quiet today. Yesterday we had some good flow though. A lot more flow, just not the best actionable flow though. But we're finally starting to see that volume come back into the market here. I mean, we're above that 30-day average now. About our sectors. No. Yes. Financials getting a lot of volume today. Yeah, financial is your only sector that's actually above that 30-day, and then SPY is nicely above it there. I figured we were going to probably see a lot of volume today based off that first hour. We were already at like 22 million for SPY. Let's see, what else do we got? I mean, you're just getting a lot of this flow where that spot is not looking very good. Those hood puts from earlier, very, very long term there. Up a little bit there. Very long term, though. J&J calls. Those things ran. I just a higher multi-leg percentage there. And you just kind of see how that IV drops too. I mean, they're green. It's just because the IV drops, it doesn't mean it's gonna always go up, and just because it's at the ask doesn't mean it's a buy, and if it's at the bid, it doesn't mean it's a sell. Kind of reading the flow, and even if it has all your clues in there, it can always go wrong. You just never know. Core weave puts from earlier. Those moved kind of nicely. Nice little move on those, down 10% almost on the day. Carvana weeklies. Yeah, those things are getting ate up. Let's take a peek at these, how they looked. 20. Okay, we got some. So like this, perfect example here. That IV spikes when it comes in. Spot is coming at the ask. And I mean, it looks good the entire way up here. And I mean, this would read as a buy to me. But when these came in, it's a little smaller size. Let's see, 510, what's this one? 145, so 200 there. Yeah, I mean, the weeklies in your, well, at the time, we were trading at, let me look at that again, sorry, 10 o'clock. Trading at about 477. Yeah, I mean, you're still pretty far out of the money for weeklies. And I mean, your put premiums kind of, or your call and put premiums just kind of flat there. Yeah, that's why I don't like swinging everything over the weekend. I did see those interesting 0-day Dells again. Massive bid-ask spread again, a risky flow name there. And just collapse there. And why was it risky? We'll take a peek. So, I mean, your IV spikes when it comes in. Spots coming in at the ask. Anything 0 day is going to be risky anyways to kind of begin with. IV's up. Spots coming in at the ask. So, I mean, you look good. That looks good for a 0 day. I mean, even your flow, same timing coming after it. It looks good, but 0 day, anything can kind of happen. So, hence the risky flow there. Alright, we're getting some dings. We'll see if we're getting anything else here into close. Just more multi-leg stuff. Multi-leg. Let's pop this down a little bit. Some Tilray puts. That could be interesting there. I know it's up pretty big on the day. More than likely probably going to see a pullback there at some point. 21 days out. 73. Yeah, like these look good here. These look good for a buy here. Let me actually need to. Not gonna post that. Not a fan of kind of those smaller names. Those I mean, there's going to be a lot of volatility around this too. I know there was news that it sounded like Trump was going to change the class of marijuana, so I mean, that's why you're seeing these pumped today. Yeah, RGTI. When did these come in? What time did these come in? Why didn't I look at these? Well, I think this was under my premium, that's why. So 10. So IV drops when that comes in. Coming at the ask still. Yeah, so I mean, that IV drops when it comes in. Not a massive fan of that. How far are these out of the money? 14 days, 47% out of the money. Yeah, probably a no. Probably a no on those. TSM puts. I know we had some yesterday in the risky channel. Oh, why am I doing that? Yeah, this we're not going to know what's kind of going on there. I know Nick was looking for those Tilray puts, so I had to send them to him. Yeah, just not a lot. Just not a lot. Yeah, those hood puts are really interesting the way they came in. I mean, that spot price increases that entire way up, and that is a lot of premium. I mean, we're back to the beginning of the day here. I mean, I'm on one page. Usually I get about 2 pages of flow here, and this is a smaller filter too. This is, I think my premium's 50,000 on those. That's pretty small. Usually keep it on that 90K. So some more MRKs coming in here right before close. Weeklies, so you're up again about 1.25%. Premiums in bid side, it is kind of running now 3%, 1% out of the money. Well, we got dividends coming up. When's the dividend on this? Let's see. Let's first look at this. IV drops when it comes in. Yeah, when's that dividend date here? It's 12/15, so next week. Yeah. Not a fan of playing names around dividends. Not a big fan. Those MU puts coming in a little bit on the ask side there. We're getting clobbered today. Kind of up there for multi-leg. 10% is usually my cutoff. Alright, let's take a peek here. So IV rises when that comes in. 9. Yeah, and this is just kind of coming with more screen time as well too. Yeah, so the IV is increasing that entire time, but keep in mind you're down almost 7% on the day, so that IV is going to be favoring puts a little bit more. So yeah, that's just kind of a screen time thing there. And I mean, do you really want to swing weeklies over the weekend on something that's down 7%? Probably not. Probably not. Yeah, just not getting much else here. How's that? How are we looking to end the day? Yeah, just looking like a choppy kind of finish to end the day. Yeah, for the most part, I mean, besides the little pop there back kind of up there a little bit. I don't have the VWAP on my trading view. I have it on my Weeble, but I'll just look at it quick. Besides that pop quick back up there and then ended up dropping there. What a... Oh, Oracle, I was like, that's not right. Yeah, we came up, tested that VWAP and dropped there. I mean, for the most part, it's kind of chopping in there. It's chopping on that 1 minute, on that 100-day. Yeah, good volume today, though. Very good volume. Be nice to get a couple more names to look at in here. Does anybody have anything else they want me to take a peek at quick before market closes here? Looking like we're just going to kind of chop between that 20 and that 100-day on the 1 minute there. Hims. Take a peek at Hims. Let's see. Got a weekly put here. 25 put those kind of far out of the money. And then a weekly call. That looks to be priced a little bit better than that 40 call. All right, let's look at these quick. All right, this one 429, 499, so about 900, 700 there. Got that previous open interest. I'll try to kind of go through these a little quicker here just so I can get everybody out of here by close. Yeah, I'm not gonna say I don't like anything on that 41 call. 25 put, again, another one with a lot of open interest there already. I have to check that, and I don't like the short-term contract there on a weekly call. This one can be a little interesting here. 8% on the day, 2 weeks. Do a quick little looky poo. So Ivy, let's see, 12. Okay, so Ivy spikes when it comes in, coming in at the ask, looking good, looking good. I would say I like these potentially there for the 40 call for 1226. Would just want to kind of double check that interest. You got 1,000 contracts there, followed by 773 and then another 205. So very close. I would want to double check that open interest Monday first before doing anything. And then we have MCHP. So big no side neutral fill on that 57.5. 0 day, we're not going to look at that because that's not going to work out for us. Another 0 day there. So you do have 75 and then a little longer term one here. I want to do this by premium first, actually. So this could be a short. Oh no, a lot of multi-leg. Those two are probably related to each other right there. Just doing a little quick drive-by. Alright, we will look at the ones that I selected quick. So just a lot of volume on it kind of already. Or open interest on it already, sorry. Trying to see if it all kind of looks like it just kind of all trailed in a little bit here. Good. Yeah, it's all carrying over, so either this person is adding. Looks like they might be passing contracts off here. You're not really seeing a big change in that open interest as much. We'll look at today's flow quick. Yeah, the IV drops. I think these might be short calls on those. We'll look at the put here. Big no side, and it's multi-leg, and you're very deep in the money. Not going to get any info out of that one. And we'll look at this one and maybe hopefully find something here. 200 contracts today, definitely an opener. 22% out of the money, very long dated. 4717. I would say I like this contract the best out of it. Your IV stays up there. It's a new chain. Spots coming in at the ask. That bid ask widens a little bit at the end there. Obviously due to all the volume, but yeah, I would say I like those tickers a little, or this chain a little bit more. Obviously very long term though, but alright, I am going to probably hop off here then, and I'll be doing the flow recap live again in a little bit. So, alright everybody, thanks for hanging out, and have a great weekend.